Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, hello, everybody. I am back for another Cosmic Career Chat. My name is Rachel Peterson. Today, I have another great Cosmic Career Chat guest with me, Nick Bittner, who's going to share all about the amazing, really cool work that he does. And so let's just jump right into it. I'm so glad to have you on our chat today, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Yeah. Well, you can see on the screen all of these amazing accolades that Nick has, a little bit about his story. We're going to hear some specifics about his story, but I'll leave this up for folks to see. And I want to point out that, Nick, you wear a lot of hats and you do a lot of really cool things. And so I'm hoping we'll get some information about that. Not only do you teach, do you do research? Are you a student yourself? Do you advise and do co-investigation for research and development? You do so much cool stuff. You're a dad. You have kids. You have pets. You have hobbies. And so I just want to point out this super cool sentence that you wrote around when not teaching, doing research, or working with a supercomputer named Talon. He enjoys hiking with his kids to birdwatch. So super cool. Let's jump right into it. So tell me first a little bit about your STEM journey, your background, your experiences, what it is that you've gone through.
I started my career path at a small community college in North Dakota where I actually went to school for wind energy. And I worked, so the large wind turbines you see on the side of the road, I've climbed literally thousands of those.
Oh my gosh.
And then I had an opportunity to come home and take over or help farm my 4th generation family farm.
Wow. Is that what this picture is on the left-hand side?
Yep, that is combining spring wheat in that picture. And so my dad, brother-in-law, and I, we farm about 5,000 acres.
Wow.
That evolved into, I got my Part 107 pilot's license and became a systems material expert in UAV, unmanned aerial vehicles and ground vehicles.
Wow.
Where we did research with the North Dakota State University on plant health indexing and orthomosaics. And that turned into, I wanted to finish my engineering degree because I always thought I would become a mechanical engineer ever since I was little. So I went back to school at a small tribal college near my hometown of Devils Lake, North Dakota, in Fort Totten. So Chandeska-Chicana Community College in the Spirit Lake Nation had a 2-year engineering program. And so I was able to keep working and go to college to begin my engineering journey. And I went to the University of North Dakota to finish my engineering degree, where because of the research I was doing at Chandeska, I ended up fitting more into the biomedical engineering department.
I want to show some cool projects that you've done. So you've talked a little bit about some of your research. Tell us more. What are we looking at in these pictures?
Oh, so in the last year, I was down at Johnson Space Center in Houston, where we were actually doing a feasibility study for what if non-normal body types wanted to become astronauts. And so we actually did all.
What do you mean by non-normal? Give us a little more.
I guess that's not quite the right nomenclature to use, but say you have a limb amputation.
Okay.
Or say if you have dwarfism or a genetic anomaly that makes you a little different than what a traditional human being is supposed to be like. And we did a study proving that just because you have an amputated leg or are in one of those categories or are a minority of mobility doesn't necessarily mean you're not qualified to be an astronaut candidate. There are some really qualified people who it's like they were in a motorcycle accident and now they have a prosthetic foot. Well, they're automatically disqualified even if everything else they have is in the excels category for being selected.
Wow.
And so we were in a couple of the different, there's actually a picture of me in one of the spacesuits in one of the capsules. I'm not sure if I can tell you which capsule, but at Johnson Space Center, where we did a study on 2 separate landing capsules and had motion capture done on an entire group of human test subjects to prove, or actually not to prove anything, but to collect the data to see if we could prove the viability in our hypothesis.
Love it. Love it. That's
Uh,
important. That's
yes.
really important work that y'all are doing. Cause yeah, just like you're saying, there's things that structures that we have in place that are not allowing all folks to be able to bring what they have to the table. So you're doing some important work. Love it.
And the other picture in here, the top corner, is actually the research we're currently doing. Okay. So we have an MSTAR grant, which is a minority servings grant through our institution, because I teach at Chandeska Chicana Community College, where we're actually a tribal college. And we have a research grant for some original research I developed, where if walking in a spacesuit in low gravity is very different from walking on Earth, and it's actually unhealthy for you. Your hip deflection, the way that you walk, your normal, the rhythm that you walk is actually called your gait. And if you disrupt your gait at all, the way that you've been developed to walk and be healthy, it's actually very hard on your joints and your muscles, and will actually eventually cause injury. So we asked the question, what if we modified the way we walk on the moon to be closer to the way we walk while we were on Earth? And we've developed outsoles that go on the bottom of the boot, of the lunar module boots. So the EVA, the extravehicular exploration suits, that allow your footsteps to get closer to Earth walking than they would be in low gravity walking. Actually, I have a few of the different test methods laying around here. So it's like the bottom, your foot goes on the top, and then we have all these deflection plates built in for different functionality of how your feet work. And then when you step, all these little lever arms actually readjust how your foot impacts the ground, and will adjust your legs walking to be in a more healthier cadence. Wow. So we had 7 designs. We actually had 12 undergrad students working on projects like this year. So we had 7 different designs compete this year, and we are actually narrowing it down to our final 2 candidates, where next year we'll actually build in 8 different materials to see which, now that we have the right shapes to work with, we can test out new materials. And so we'll be building those same parts in 8 different ways to see which ones function the best.
Oh, that's such a cool project. It's like you're making a space shoe. I love it.
We are.
Yeah.
Moon boot.
Moon boot. Exactly. All right, we're going to jump into our final little section. This is our rapid fire question section. It's one of my favorite things to do. These are just short and sweet answers off the top of your head. Give us a short little snippet. So the first question is, what was your favorite project you've worked on? Because you've worked on a lot. So tell us. What is it.
I have a device that I've actually patented that helps cancer biologists do migration studies better, so we can learn how to fight against breast cancer more efficiently.
Wow. So really impactful.
Yeah. My maternal grandfather actually passed away from prostate cancer. I was offered a position to help develop cancer remedies, and prostate cancer mitigation was one of the selections. And it was probably one of the big reasons I ended up going more into the biomedical route, is because of that.
Yeah. Those personal stories, the things that kind of come from your real life that drive you into the direction.
The passion. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, here's our next one. Who's one of your favorite STEM stars or role models that you can share with us?
I've never been one to really know celebrities or pick on scientists, and it's really much closer to home for me. Both my grandfathers on my mom and my dad's side, and really my dad, who's he's an agricultural engineer, but they've really always shown me that you can just be a normal person and still have great impact.
All right. What is your favorite part of teaching?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
It is.
Um,
Lots of favorites here.
so I will go into my lab and hand students a random thing off my desk or something laying around and say, go make me one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's homework for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that you have a student actually figure out a big concept about something, and then they're actually able to apply it to what they're working on or help the next person. That's my favorite thing about teaching.
I love that. As a teacher, I'm like, yes, that is exactly those moments where you see students apply things to the real world. They apply them to helping other people, helping the planet, helping society. All right. So you mentioned you have kids. What is one lesson you have learned from your own kids?
So I actually have 5 kids. And one lesson I've learned from them is always be curious and be persistent. Those are really the things that my kids highlight a lot for me in my life.
Last question for you. What advice do you have for young students who are learning about different STEM paths and opportunities?
So I've actually gotten this question quite frequently as of late, which is just kind of odd to me, but
everyone wants to know what you think.
It's so funny to me because I always just say I'm a guy who likes to make stuff. That's all I will ever consider myself, and that's all I'll ever be, as I like to make things. It's surprising where saying yes can actually lead you. I would have never ended up in the biomedical engineering doing some of the really interesting research I do, or I would have never had some of the opportunities I've had if I wouldn't have been just slightly uncomfortable with saying yes. And yeah, that's the answer. Sometimes, even if you're a little bit of afraid of if I can do this or how's that going to work, sometimes saying yes, the pieces will fall into place and it'll work out.
I'm so glad that you joined us today on our Cosmic Career Chats, Nick. Thanks for joining. You had so many interesting tidbits that I know our students, our teachers are going to walk away from learning more than they knew before. So thank you so much for joining us today on the show. And students, we'll see you next time.